Awesome. Well, today, guys, we are going to be talking about buyer messages. So buyer messages for a lot of brands, you guys, for buyer messages. When we work with a lot of brands, you guys have a lot of questions when it comes to buyer messaging. Buyer messaging obviously has some different steps you have to consider, right? They're not super complex, but there is a lot of things to consider. You got to make sure you're within that 24-hour window. You need to make sure you're providing the best customer service possible. So although it's not a complex process, there are different ways to go about it for everybody. So that's why today I decided to bring on Amanda. Amanda is our full service director here at Turnkey Product Management and also one of our top client managers. She works with tons of different brands and therefore sees a lot of different buyer messaging issues and really is in the weeds when it comes to it. So I thought she was a really great fit to bring on today to talk about this. So, first things first, Amanda, when it comes to buyer messages having to be responded within 24 hours, what do you think are best practices to make sure you're meeting that 24-hour deadline?
Yeah, all Amazon is looking for in a buyer message situation is just a response. So it's just really important to respond first thing in the morning. I mean, it doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. It can be in the morning or in the afternoon, but pick one time during the day where you can sit down and dedicate a little bit of time to respond to customers, especially coming off of the weekend. You want to make sure you get to those messages as quick as possible so it doesn't hurt metrics.
Right. Yeah, definitely super important to make sure, especially for the metrics, right? If you're not responding to those messages in time, they actually can shut your whole account down. That is something we have seen. So it is crucial that you are meeting those 24-hour deadlines, even if it is the weekend, even if you are on vacation, find a way to get it done, whether that's recruiting a team member to help you out or something. So totally agree. So Amanda, definitely, obviously I just mentioned, going on vacation or it's the weekend, a lot of stuff comes in the way when it comes to this 24-hour window where, life does happen. Who knows if you can get back to Amazon on time, right? So when it comes to these buyer messages, what do you feel is a good way to optimize and speed up the buyer messaging process?
Yeah, so Amazon actually just recently released this feature in it with buyer messaging templates. So you can go in there and put in, some basic templates to use that you can quickly respond to customers. And then there's also a setting where you can, it's basically like a sub-user setting where you can put in the emails that are allowed to respond to those buyer messages. So like you mentioned, if you're gone and you need help, you can add that person's email in and they'll be able to respond for you.
Awesome. Very cool. So you mentioned those templates. How would they go about uploading different templates into Seller Central?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty simple. So all you have to do is log into Seller Central, go to your buyer messages, and on the right, you'll see a little link that says Manage Email Templates. So it'll be right there. It's super easy to access.
Awesome. Very cool. So when it comes to the templates, obviously it's super easy for you and I to say, yeah, just write a bunch of templates. But for a lot of people, the question's going to be, where do I even start? How do I know what to write a template addressing? So what would you say for those people?
Totally. I would start with a very basic one that buys you time, basically. Just tells the customer we're looking into the issue and we'll get back to them. That's always just a safe start because that can be used across the board for pretty much anything. And then I would take a look at your most frequent questions that you get asked, and then you can build templates based off of that as well.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of you guys, I'm just, based on what we've seen, you're going to get the same issues that come up continuously. So it is really important that you pay attention to those messages, listen to your customers, and from there build it out. So one really great example is we work with a client that their product involves sizing. So there are sizing issues that do come up. So when people want to return the product and buy a new one, we have templates built out to help them with that sizing issue. Within those buyer messages, if people would like to repurchase products to, basically they're returning a product to repurchase, right? So that basically helps with that issue, which is good.
Yeah.
So as far as these buyer messages, Amanda, what are the benefits to using the templates? How can this help brands in the future?
Yeah, I think it just helps people stay on top of responding to those messages in time because, like everybody, we're all busy. And so sometimes you don't have time to look into 20 different buyer messages, but you do have to respond to those people. So
Right.
it helps, yeah, it definitely just helps people stay on track and respond in a timely manner.
Yeah. And one thing I would say, because we were talking about like having people help others respond and everything like that. So if you've got multiple team members responding to these customer messages, consistency is super important, right? You don't want to give one customer one answer, another one another answer. So one thing that these templates are able to accomplish is a consistency piece where everyone is getting the same response for that specific issue. Everyone is going to get that same message about sizing. That way it's consistent because you guys know your customers, and consistency really is key when it comes to just building a brand in general. Yeah. So yeah, but other than that, Amanda, anything else to add for buyer messages?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
I think that covers it.
Yeah, I mean, and if you guys do have questions and you guys need help from experts, definitely reach out to our team by going to turnkeyproductmanagement.com/talk. We'll be more than willing to chat with you guys about your buyer message strategy and how you can optimize to make it stronger. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, Amanda. Definitely appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, thanks for having me.